As good as Shedeur Sanders has been up until this point, and he's been amazing, a Pac-12 coaches came out and accused Shedeur Sanders of one of the wildest things I've ever heard of. Man, oh man, is today just the day of rumors? Because earlier today we talked about the 2-day rumor going on about Jalen Milroe, and now we got this involving Shedeur Sanders? You can call it a coincidence. I'm just going to say this. I have no idea what in the crap is going on. But I can tell you this much. This rumor currently going on with Shedeur Sanders is already 10 times bigger than the rumor about Jalen Milroe in Alabama. For those of you that don't know, Jalen Milroe, he is the quarterback for Alabama. We already talked all about that earlier. If you want to see that video, feel free to check it out. But getting on track with this video though, we got to talk about this really, and I mean really intriguing and fascinating rumor and situation going on with no other than the man, the myth, the legend himself, Shedeur Sanders. No introduction needed, no introduction whatsoever. We've already talked about him enough, and you know I love me some Shedeur. Been keeping up with this young man ever since he was at Jackson State, and I tried telling people back then, I don't care that he's not playing good competition. This dude is already great. And what did everybody tell me? Oh, Matt, you're tripping. We'll see what happens when he plays in the Power 5 against Pac-12 competition. And yeah, we have seen, haven't we? He has done nothing short than prove me and all the believers right and prove all the doubters wrong. And the funniest part about this is I said it a few days ago, just wait until he has a bad game, because eventually it's going to happen. Every quarterback has one, maybe 2 bad games a year. All these haters are going to come back out. But for now at least, you hear that? Oh, that's right, you don't hear anything. It's crickets, it's silence. The haters are currently in hibernation because there's nothing bad to say about him. You can't even try to find something bad to say. As good as Shedeur Sanders has been up until this point, and he's been amazing, a Pac-12 coaches came out and accused Shedeur Sanders of one of the wildest things I've ever heard of. When I first saw this, my mouth dropped because I couldn't believe it. And maybe even the crazier thing about this is there's people out here who believe there's some truth to it. Now, whether there is some truth to it or not, I'll let you guys be the judge in the comment section, and I'm going to give you my 2 cents as well. Let's just get straight into it, shall we? An anonymous Pac-12 coach says that Shedeur Sanders is taking sacks so his completion percentage doesn't get affected. According to the Athletic NFL, he accuses Shedeur of quote-unquote stat padding. Continuing along, quote-unquote, he stated, I think they want to rack up some stats for Shedeur. He really holds onto the ball for a long time. I think he takes sacks because he doesn't want to affect his completion percentage. Well, I am extremely curious. What do y'all think about that? I will say this right off the bat, I agree with the part where he holds onto the ball for a long time, and even Joel Klatt, when he was calling one of the games, he has said that multiple different times. If you've watched Shedeur and Colorado play, you probably have noticed yourself that there's a couple plays where he does hold on to the ball for a very long time. It's not rocket science, that's just common knowledge. You can see it with your own 2 eyes. So that's fine, I have no problem with that whatsoever, but then stating that he holds onto the ball for a long time because he'd rather get sacked than throw it incompletion, that's ridiculous and a little ludicrous, to me at least. What is the best way to say this? What am I trying to think of? Okay, here it is. It's a very bold take. To think that Shedeur Sanders rather get sacked and hit hard by a grown man than to just throw the ball away and have a little dink on his completion percentage, that's far-fetched. To this anonymous Pac-12 coach that stated this, you do understand that that could risk a big injury, by taking a sack over throwing an incompletion. Let's check out some of the comments though, and as I'm speaking, this currently has over 2.5 million views. It just came out a few hours ago. I'm sure by tonight or even tomorrow morning, it'll have over 5, 6, 7 million views. Okay, here we go. Anonymous is ridiculous. Say it with your chest and with your name on it if you want to say it. And I agree. What's up with all these reports saying, oh, an anonymous head coach? Like, just put your name out there. Getting sacked and risking an injury sounds like a worse outcome than his completion percentage dipping. That's exactly, literally what I just said. This is heading at its finest. Yep, like I was saying, there's nothing to hate on Shedeur up until this point. So now I guess if you do want to hate on him, you got to come up with a crazy conspiracy theory that he's holding on to the ball for too long because he'd rather get sacked. Oh man, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. Benny Smalls stated, or, in all caps, he just doesn't like giving up on the play and stretches out as long as he can. He trusts that his legs will always save him, but with more experience, every quarterback learns that sometimes you just got to take the loss on the play and toss it out. That's a great point. I also agree. Do want to throw in there, Deion Sanders, he was asked about Shedeur Sanders hold on to the ball too long, and he said the same exact thing. Shedeur holds onto the ball as long as he does till the last second because he's waiting for the play to open up. That's a great trait to have, but also we see it sometimes. That's a bad trait to have because it can lead up to some major sacks and major losses in yardage. But I did want to throw that in there because Deion Sanders has addressed that, and Shedeur, he's just doing that on purpose a lot. There's a bunch of more comments I could read off, but there's many people also stating that this quote-unquote anonymous Pac-12 head coach, it's most definitely Dan Lanning. Not going to speak on that too much. Do what you want with that information. Before we go any farther, I'm curious. Let's pull up Shedeur's stats on this season so far. Pretty dang good on paper. 1,700 yards, 15 tutties to only 2 INTs, QBR 72.1. That's a little lower than what I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be around 80, 81, 82. And I'm also curious, can I pull up how many stats he's had or suffered this year? I think I can, or I can figure it out. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to add it up from all the games. He got sacked 4 times against TCU, 7 against Nebraska, 4 against Colorado State, 7 against Oregon, and 3 against USC. 4, 7, that's 11, 15, 22. So he's been sacked this year 25 times in 5 games. Wow. Let's do some simple math here. 25 divided by 5 is 5 times per game. Not good. And his completion percentage for this year is at an all-time high. He is completing a whopping 74.8% of his passes. Wow. And here's the thing about that. I think we can put this argument to rest with some cold hard facts here. If you take a look at all of Shedeur's numbers from every year, 2021 up until 2023, he's improved his completion percentage every single year. So it's not a fluke. First year, 65.9. Second year, 70.6. And this year, 74.8. Again, I got to throw this in there. I can't emphasize this enough. This is against better competition. That's what's so impressive about all of this. He has increased his completion percentage, which was already at 70.6 at Jackson State, to 74.8 against better competition. Granted, we're only 5 games into the season, but there's no reason for me to believe it's not going to stay there. He's already played the 2 best teams on his schedule in Oregon and USC. Going back to this, though, stating that he holds onto the ball for a long time because he'd rather get sacked than throw an incompletion, here's my final thoughts on that. As an athlete, I'm going to tell you straight up, that is not even a thought that even for a slither of a second creeps into your mind. Every single play Shedeur Sanders is trying to make the best play possible. Every quarterback in the country out there is trying to make the best play possible on every play. Now, does that happen? No. You want to throw a first down or a touchdown on every single pass attempt. But sometimes you throw interceptions. Sometimes you get sacked. It's a part of the game, and we see Caleb Williams do this. Caleb Williams holds onto the ball probably longer than anybody else because he's so confident in his abilities to make a play happen. Caleb Williams never, and I mean never, ever wants to throw the ball out of bounds. He doesn't want to waste a play. Shedeur Sanders has that same characteristic trait. I just find it extremely hard to believe this right here for a split second. And we don't know who it is. I wish we did, because I just want to know if they played sports. As a competitor, you don't think, okay, let me take a sack here so my completion percentage doesn't drop. No. That doesn't go into the thought process. And I stated earlier it's far-fetched, but heck, I think it's beyond far-fetched now that I really think about it. I mean, I want y'all to think about this, and we'll end out the video here. Imagine before the play, before you snap the ball, you're like, okay, if they blitz here, I got to hold on to the ball. I'm going to hold on to the ball because I don't want to throw an incompletion because that's going to boost down or it's going to lower my completion. You see what I'm saying? That's just crazy. And also, Shedeur Sanders is throwing 40 pass attempts per game. 1 incompletion, throwing 1 ball or 2 balls out of bounds, it's not going to affect it that much. I just have a hard time believing it, man. I have an extremely hard time believing it. Let me know in the comment section. What do you think about it? As we all know, Colorado does play Arizona State tomorrow, and in that game, I did pick Colorado to win. I guess the next time I see you boys and girls, that'll be tomorrow in the live reaction. I can't wait for that game. I expect Shedeur Sanders to go off. Arizona State, they have a decent defense, but nothing too crazy. I could see Shedeur going out there and easily throwing for maybe 350 yards and 5 touchdowns. And especially with this rumor coming out, I guarantee you he's going to get a hold of this before tomorrow, before they kick off, and it's going to motivate him a little bit more. And we all know this, that Colorado team, they do not need any more motivation. I did think this was interesting. Don't buy it for a split second. Let me know your thoughts down below. But